Well, hello there, Libra. How are you? It's so good to see you again. I'm Mary Sue, and I'm so grateful that you're here. Today, we're doing your mid-November reading, so this is good from now until mid-December. We'll take a look at the overall energies with the oracle cards, and then we'll move to the tarot for more details. And if you're enjoying the content that I create or resonating with the message, I'd really appreciate it if you would consider liking, commenting, or subscribing. I do really appreciate all of your support. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Electric Eel Spirit, bring your ideas to life. Wow, love that. And the Fates. Okay, so, we had the 11/11 portal last week, and Jupiter is going direct next week. So there's this energy of maybe perhaps getting some intuitive downloads, some new ideas that are coming to your mind. These are fated. These are ideas that honestly it's about taking action on them. Okay, knowing that this is fated, and it's not just a like a crazy, wild hair idea. It is something to take seriously and to move forward with. So let's go to the tarot. We're going to take a look at the present energy, your area of resistance or obstacle, and then finally your advice from spirit about how to move through this obstacle. So let's see what we have here. Interesting energies. Okay, so on the bottom we have hidden motivations, a new beginning. Okay, the sense that I get is that there's some type of hidden motivation for a new beginning. Okay, I think you're getting some new idea about how to move forward in your life in a certain way. It's fated, okay, but there's a little bit of a motivation here, and it's kind of hidden. I'm going to actually clarify that. I'm kind of intrigued because this hidden motivation, okay, is I feel I'm kind of wondering. Let's see. Yeah, I think what it is that you're trying to reunite, or you're trying to bring back together something that you've had in the past. Okay. It's taking action, but it's kind of like, okay, this is the energy that I have, Libra. It's almost like you're trying to go roundabout. You see, we have the Three of Cups. It's like you don't want to have a conversation, eye to eye with somebody. It's kind of like you want to go around. You want to, it's almost like when you were in middle school and you would have your friend ask the friend of somebody else if they liked you or not, when you were like romantically inclined with somebody, instead of just going and saying, hey, would you like to go to the movies? You would ask your friend to ask their best friend to ask them, would you like to go to the movies with so-and-so? And then it would come back down the telephone line, right? And I feel like that's the kind of energy that's here, because your heart is broken. Okay, there's a little bit of disappointment about how something has happened or turned out for you, right? There's a disappointment here. So you're kind of like trying to block yourself from more disappointment in this situation. Yeah, and it could have to do with, we have the Three of Cups again. So King of Pentacles, is the energy of, entrepreneur. You could be starting a business, just kind of like you could be putting, having feelers for who would be interested in working with you, or would they be interested in your product. But it's kind of like doing it almost like side around instead of just asking directly. It's kind of like, well, I'm going to put it out around this other way. I'm going to ask this person, something like that. With the King of Pentacles, it could also be a family situation where you're asking somebody else in the family, well, how are they doing? instead of just calling them up and saying, how are you doing? So I feel like there's somebody here that you're kind of in conflict with, and just, wanting for some reason to get things to work out. Yeah. And Queen of Wands, Judgment card, trying to bring something together perhaps, and just having a difficult time getting it to work out, because your present energy is a victim mentality and the Three of Pentacles. Something's not coming together the way that you want it to. Once again, we have that energy of, wanting to bring people or situations back together. And yet at the same time, it's kind of like, I don't know if I can get this to work. And you're going about it in a way that is, there's no direct communication. So it's almost kind of like the only thing I would say, Libra, is that you could be like muddying the waters. There's this energy of muddying the waters because you're not having direct, clear communication with the person that you're really wanting to talk to, if that makes sense, right? So you're like going through a third party, but even, you've played the telephone game. You know how that works, right? It gets distorted along the way. So let's see what we have here. Yeah, having the strength, okay? Having the strength to take action, to have the communication that you really want to have, right? It's going within and understanding, okay, this is something that's near and dear to your heart, I think, So it's kind of like, well, I want to have this conversation, but I don't want to be heartbroken. I don't want it to turn into an argument, right? Because you are somebody that likes harmony. So you don't want it to be an argument or something like that. Well, it's about going within, listening to your own heart, understanding that having this conversation, like putting yourself in the other person's shoes. If there's a conversation of some sort that you want to have with them, right? To just have that conversation with them. How would you want, if the roles were reversed, how would you want that person to approach you? Yeah, so, think about that. If there was somebody that, say it's about a job, okay? And, you're wanting a job from, let's say you would like for Joe to hire you, okay? But you're kind of afraid to ask Joe, hey Joe, I'd like to come work for you. Here's my qualifications. Can I meet with you? Can I discuss this? You ask Abigail, I don't know where I'm getting these names. You ask Abigail to ask Joe if there would be even a chance, okay? But think about Joe. Okay, if Joe's sitting there and Libra is sending a message through Abigail to you, right? And you're Joe, you're thinking, well, does Joe have what it takes to have clear communication with people? Is that somebody I want to hire? So it's that type of energy where you're trying to have your own heart broken, but at the same time, by trying to prevent that disappointment for yourself, what you're actually doing is not putting yourself in the best position for this to work out. Really interesting. So here we have your area of resistance, your obstacle. Yeah, the Ace of Pentacles and loss, fearing, okay? Fearing that whatever you're wanting to plant, this new seed, I think you're getting a new idea, something coming to you, right? It's faded. And yet at the same time, you're kind of holding back on it because you're afraid you're going to be disappointed. Perhaps you're thinking about all the other ideas that you had that didn't take off or something like that. This is a new idea. This is something that is faded. The universe is behind this. With the Ace of Pentacles, it's like a gift from the universe. So it's don't fear that this isn't going to work out in your best favor, right? It's kind of like, don't hold back. I honestly, this is something that you should not hold back, whether it's a conversation you want to have with somebody that maybe you haven't talked to in a long time, or this is a new business idea, whatever this is. When you get this message, right, it's kind of like, I'm going to take action on it, and I'm taking direct action on it. So yeah. And then Fool with the Ace of Wands. And this, you know what? This is sending you into a very nice energy. For some of you, I do feel like it is perhaps somebody, family member, or, you know, somebody from the past that you'd like to reconnect with. It doesn't have to be romantic, but there's this energy of, yes, I'm ready for a fresh start with that person. Let's, you know, try this. Because here we have the Chariot, you know, you're wanting to move forward, but, you know, we have the Tower here. I feel like you're trying to move forward, but you're trying to move forward in this very obscure way. Let's put it that way, right? And the Tower's coming in to say, no, listen, here's the way that you need to do it. You just need to pick up the phone and call this person, or send them an email, or send them your resume, right? It's kind of like, yes. No, the epiphany, you know, the epiphany about what is the idea, you know, what is coming in. How can you move forward? How can you be successful? How can you find victory in this situation? The only thing that's holding you back is your fear of not having this work out, you know, and this message is all about, no, this is fated. This is going to work out in your favor. So it's take determined action on this. You know, don't, you know, it doesn't mean that you walk into Joe and you say, you're going to give me that job because, you know, you have to, but it is about not hiding your motivations, you know, not sending somebody a text or an email or something and, oh, how are you doing, right? And the truth of the matter is that there's something perhaps that you want to really and truly discuss with them. It's about being kind of direct. It doesn't mean that you say, you know, you call them up and you say, hi, you know, and then you go right into it. I'm not saying that, but it's kind of like you there's no like back and forth, and then you ask, right? Or you say what it is that you need to say. It's kind of like, this is how I feel. This is what I'm looking for. Being really direct, being very clear and truthful, and not, you know, not hiding behind the skirts, if you will, right, of your motivations. So let's see what we have. Ascended Masters and the Ace of Swords again. This is your truth. Your Ascended Masters are coming in to help you to have the courage in order to speak what your truth is, whatever the situation is. For some of you, you could be afraid that by saying what you have to say, there could be people that want to walk away, right? That people are going to say, oh, I'm not hanging around for, you know, whatever this idea is. But you seem to, I mean, you have the Chariot card. You're going to be victorious in this. You have the Chariot card twice. This is your truth. When you step into your truth, when you speak your truth, when you're authentic and true to yourself and to what your heart truly desires, the universe is going to back you. This is, yeah, Fool, Wheel of Fortune, Three of Pentacles. Yes, see, it is going to work out. You know, the thing that you are so fearful of right here, okay, loss and Three of Pentacles, the thing that you are so fearful of not being able to have come together, right, is exactly what comes together. When you step onto this path, you know, let's talk about the Fool card, because sometimes, you know, you could be feeling at this time, well, if I tell this person how I really feel, or I tell this person what it is that I'm looking for, and I'm upfront and very truthful and authentic, right, I'm going to feel like a fool when they say no, right? Here's the other thing is, though, that the Fool goes into it with complete enthusiasm, believing that things are going to work out in their favor. This is fated, right? The Fool knows that this is something I'm going to do, and I'm going to jump off this cliff. I'm going to speak my truth, and I know the universe will catch me. Even if this is heartbreaking and you don't get the answer, Joe says no to the job, or you have a conversation with somebody and it doesn't turn out the way that you thought it would or you wanted it to, right? That at least you know the truth and you can move on, right? You can move on. You can make a decision. Okay, I'm going to move on. Because the universe is really, you have the fated and then you have ascended masters. Your spirit guides and angels are helping you on this decision, this path, okay? And if the answer is not what you were wanting, okay, it's because they know that you need to eliminate that option so that you can move forward. They know what that lies ahead on the path, right? They know there's this beautiful thing ahead for you. And so to have this no may be painful for a little bit, but then this new option comes in right behind it. It's kind of like, okay, Libra's kind of still thinking about something they lost or something that they wish would happen, right? And it's kind of like, okay, we got to clear that energy out. And the only way we can clear that energy out is to kind of have Libra take a bold step forward here and try to figure out, is this my path or isn't it? And if it's not my path, then I need to go in a new direction. But I know either way, the universe is on my side. I love this because it's kind of like, it's like now or never. It's just time to, to figure out the truth. It's interesting because Gemini had somewhat of a similar reading. Theirs was like a monster underneath the bed, and it's kind of like when you were a child, you didn't want to get out of bed and look under the bed because if you looked, you were convinced there was a monster underneath there, right? It's almost like you have convinced yourself that this isn't going to work out the way that you want it to. So it's almost as if you're kind of manifesting that perhaps, but the other thing is that you're not finding out the truth in the situation so that you can move forward. So like just when you were a little kid, and you couldn't sleep because you were convinced there was a monster under the bed, but you're too scared to get out of bed and look underneath there, it's kind of like your parents might come in, they might turn on the light, they'd look under there, they'd get you to look under there. Okay, no monster, now I can go to sleep. And it's that type of energy. It's kind of like, okay, I've got to find out, what are my chances here? Is Joe going to hire me? Is, my family going to talk to me? Whatever the situation is. Okay, I got to figure this out because it's time to move forward. I love this. What am I most afraid of losing? I think for some of you, you're most afraid of losing the idea that this may work out. This may come back to you, right? Because once we realize yes or no, right, then we can make a decision and we can move forward. Holding out hope for something that we're not even really kind of working on or, is kind of like holds us back from the direction that we're meant to go in. As we grow, change, and transform our lives, it requires us to let go of something that was to make room for what will be. If you were to take the big leap today, would you feel scared of losing love, safety, or belonging? What if it was a big fat lie? What if it was impossible to lose any of those things because you have the power to give everything you need to yourself? And, I think it's interesting. The big, what did they say? The big scary leap. That's the Fool card. It's taking the big scary leap. It's figuring out, okay, where do I stand with this person? Or where do I stand in this situation? I need to figure that out. And then I can decide which way to go. For some of you, it could be even, we have a lot of pentacles here. It could be even a health situation, that you're kind of concerned about. But it's kind of like, I don't want to go to the doctor and find out. But the truth of the matter is that when you find out, what the situation is, there could be no situation, or if there is a situation, okay, now I can deal with that. But, it's almost like preventing ourselves from moving forward because we're just afraid to look at the truth. Looking at the truth, your ascended masters are encouraging you to look at the truth in this situation because the truth will literally set you free, And I'm going to say, once again, you have victory all over this. So it's kind of like there's nothing to fear except fear itself, right? All right. Well, Libra, I do personal readings. If you're interested, the link is in the description box below. I really appreciate all of your support through liking, commenting, and subscribing. And I really do wish you much love and light in this situation and all your situations. And I hope to see you again really soon. Bye for now.